Hi, and welcome back to Football Made Simple. A finely poised second leg took centre stage in the Champions League as Pochettino's PSG hosted Flick's Bayern. Coming in with a 3-2 away lead, PSG were favourites, but you could never rule out Bayern Munich. In the end, the tie ended 1-0 to Bayern thanks to CHUPO MOTING, meaning the overall score was 3-3, and PSG made it through on away goals. The XG showed that neither side was at their clinical best, 1.86 to 1.53. But what tactics did Poch and Flick use? Let's take a look. A reminder of the lineups as both managers opted for the 4-2-3-1. For formations like this, match updates, team and player stats, check out our video sponsor, the OneFootball app, which is absolutely free through the link in the description below. Let's begin with what Bayern did on the ball, as they had slightly more of it, with 55%. Bayern looked to build up from the back, with Neuer initially looking to find the centre-backs. And early on in the match, PSG could press higher up in a 4-2-3-1, with Neymar looking to sit on KIMMICH in the first phase. When PSG did use the shape early in the first leg, it was more effective, as Goretzka tended to push high up between the lines early on, and halting Kimmich would stifle Bayern's progression much more. But Alaba operated deeper, so that he and Kimmich operated as a much more traditional double pivot. So even when Neymar did stay deeper, he would be 2 versus 1 and didn't have the discipline to track both. So instead, PSG shifted to go man-to-man in the press, with the pivots also pushing higher up to create a 4-4-2. So, to have the numerical superiority to allow them to play out, Bayern's Pavard would stay deeper to be the third centre-back, whilst Alphonso Davies pushed higher up. But as the game wore on, PSG's 4-4-2 began to drop deeper and deeper. And the role of Thomas Müller was interesting. Although he was down as an attacking midfielder on paper, he tended to push up alongside CHUPO MOTING early, and this meant that PSG would be 2 versus 2 in the midfield. At times, we did see him drop into the midfield, but if we had seen this more often, the numerical overload in central zones could have seen the Parisians struggle much more. And generally, rather than go through the centre, Bayern preferred to attack down the left-hand side, due to the makeup of their personnel. Although Coman could remain wide at times, he tended to tuck in earlier, which suited Davies, who was up early to provide the width and create 2 versus 2s. So when Coman did receive the ball 1 versus 1 with his man, he often looked to take him on, to get him the shot, or go down the outside to get in the cross. We see this in Bayern's goal, with Alaba instead causing the 2 versus 2 down the left, allowing Coman to be 1 versus 1 with Dagba, who he takes on to get the cross in down the outside. Müller, playing the auxiliary forward role, gets the shot off before CHUPO MOTING finishes the move off. But we could also see Hernandez or Alaba move up into this zone to cause an overload down the left, and PSG would shift across to cover. And here we see the benefit of Müller pushing up to join the front line rather than joining the midfield, as he was consistently in the half space early, forcing Diallo narrow. So generally, Bayern attacked with the front 5, with 1 winger narrow, 1 wide, and 1 fullback high, and 1 deep. This would then open up the switch to Sané that Bayern went to time and again, especially as Draxler could be slow to track back. And Sané was excellent, particularly in the second half, taking on his man time and again to then either have a shot or create for others. He completed a game-high 7 dribbles and had 3 key passes as well. But at times, he would cross from deeper regions, and we see the disadvantage of not having Goretzka, as with Kimmich and Alaba both often deeper, Bayern had less men attacking the box. Musiala, when he came on, provided a different option, playing this Goretzka-like role and pushing high early, often getting the wrong side of Gay and Paredes to receive between the lines. But as in the first leg, PSG were dangerous on the quick transitions. This was fairly simple, with Bayern pushing their line extremely high, and Neymar looking to receive the ball deeper, to most often release Mbappe down the left, although Di Maria could join in at times down the right. And this is where PSG created most of their goalmouth action. But let's touch on what PSG did in deeper regions. When PSG did find their centre-backs, Bayern would look to press high early with a hybrid two-man frontline, making something like a 4-4-2. And CHUPO initially pressed high on one centre-back, forcing him one way, and Müller backed up the press to force the second centre-back to the fullback. As soon as the fullback did receive the ball here in a deep region, Bayern would look to press, cutting off any and all central options and looking to force them long. When the ball was down PSG's left in particular, Coman, who had come narrow on the pivot to help the press, could be vulnerable as he would be out of position, meaning that quick play from PSG would help find Dagba, who would be free wide. But in more open play, Bayern identified Idrissa Gueye as a pressing target. When possible, the passing lane would initially be left open to draw the pass into him, and as soon as he received, he would be swarmed by Bayern's midfield, as he isn't as technically gifted as Paredes. We can see how low his pass accuracy was in comparison to Paredes. And here we see a bit of contrast between Neymar and Müller's roles. Both Bayern's pivots were high attacking the press, and Neymar would initially stay higher up alongside Mbappe. And we would then see a pivot or Di Maria coming narrow from the right, look to play a riskier pass past the first line of pressure, and Neymar would have dropped between the lines to pick up the ball in decent space. He would then look to drive out the defense and look to combine with Mbappe to create chances. Overall, Bayern paid for not being anywhere near clinical enough in their first leg. And similar problems in this match almost haunted PSG, who by the end were holding on. They await the winner of City and Dortmund and will be hoping their performances improve to get closer to that first Champions League. But what did you make of the match and of both managers' tactics? Drop it down below. And if you want even more content whilst helping to support the channel, consider checking out my Patreon at patreon.com/FootballMadeSimple. You'll get early access to videos, exclusive videos, as well as access to the upcoming FMS video podcast. But that's all for today, and remember,
bread is bread and cheese is cheese.